welcome here to more TALKFCB, and welcome back to the channel here, guys, for some transfer news. Because obviously over on the main channel today we're talking about pre-season, about the confirmed signings of Frenkie and Andreas Christensen. But there's also so much else going on too, because today we're going to be talking about big exits, potentially, from the club this summer, along with the rumours that Frenkie de Jong will not accept a wage cut at the club. We're going to be discussing the truth behind those rumours and also what that could mean for his future at Barça, plus as well the latest, indeed, on Ousmane Dembélé. It is all coming your way, lots still to discuss. So let's do it. Because if we do start, first of all, with those potentially huge exits from the club, the first of them we have spoken about already in a little bit of detail, and that's Clement Lenglet. And he is getting very, very close now to completing that expected loan move to Tottenham. It is so close to happening and all being wrapped up. But what is interesting about this deal is that Tottenham actually, according to multiple reports, they won't be able to cover his full salary. And would you like to know the reason for that? Well, it's because Clement Lenglet reportedly earns €6 million per year net salary, which is a €12 million gross figure. Now, Tottenham reportedly are going to pay just over $7 million of that gross figure, which is gross quite literally and figuratively. But what that means is Lenglet's current deal at Barca until 2026 sees him earn €230,000 a week. 230k for Lenglet. That is the contract that Bartomeu gave him when he was already on borrowed time. And by the way, guys, bear that in mind there. That Lenglet deal given out by Bartomeu, because that also ties in with what we're going to discuss about Frenkie de Jong later. There's better news, though, when it comes to the other French centre-back that we're desperately trying to offload, because Samuel Umtiti used to be on a contract like that. That was also the kind of deal that Bartomeu gave him until the new board and Laporta managed to renegotiate that deal, of course, back in January there, seeing him earn a lower wage, which has been crucial not only financially, but it's also helped this summer to get him off the books for good, because Rennes, the club in France there, they're very interested in Umtiti. They're looking to take him on, and it's interesting right now because it is being reported that that won't be a loan. This could actually be a straight-up transfer, because Barça are looking to give Umtiti the letter of freedom, which will basically allow him to walk away from the club for nothing, basically end his contract here. We won't have to pay up the rest of it. We will just let him go there on a free, and Rennes could sign him on a permanent deal. And let's just hope that would be an amazing, amazing thing if it happened. And what also really did catch my attention this evening is words from Joan Laporta, because he actually came out this evening with a real word of warning for all of those players at Barca right now who are just dragging their heels, who are not leaving the club, who are not really making too much of an effort to move on, even though they know they're not in the club's plans. Because Laporta has said the second financial lever, the big one that we've discussed, that is on the verge of being activated, he said that is also really going to help us to activate exits from the club. And those there, they are big words from Laporta, because he's sort of alluding there to contract terminations, as in, if you're going to refuse to go, if you're going to drag your heels and sit around here picking up the salary, we want you gone. And I think he feels as though it's time to take action. We are not going to wait around anymore. This is the moment to really stamp our authority on the squad this summer, and absolutely no one is going to stand in our way. Which brings us on to the topic now of Frenkie de Jong. And this is, of course, an ever-changing situation. There's been so many twists and turns right throughout the window when it comes to Frenkie de Jong's future. You remember, of course, on Saturday night, we all spoke about the quotes there from Laporta again, when he said that Barca had no intention of selling Frenkie de Jong. He said the player wants to stay. He confirmed that. He also said that United have approached Barca, but so have other clubs too. But, as we also discussed at the time, that didn't guarantee that de Jong was going to stay, because he did actually go on and specifically make a real point of saying But if De Jong is to stay, there will need to be a salary adjustment. He made a real point of saying, look, those wages, we cannot continue with the way things currently are. But that was something that until very recently, I think we all believed that De Jong would alter that salary, would be open to a renegotiation, and of course he may still be. But let's talk now about these rumours. Because just last night, on Sunday evening, Fabrizio Romano, I've got to say, shocked many Barcelona fans, because he did indeed report the following. He said that Frenkie de Jong is not so open there to reducing his salary at the club. He says that actually, on Frenkie's side, any reduction in salary this summer, it is seen right now as highly unlikely, and that is something that they do not expect to happen. And I have to say that is surprising for me. Certainly there, Fabrizio is often a very reliable reporter in the transfer window. We all know that, so certainly I would pay attention to those words. I wouldn't just cast them aside, and that's why here we've got to talk about it, because what could that mean then for his future? Because I want to start off by saying and making it absolutely clear, guys, that no player can just be expected to reduce their salary. Of course, there's no obligation at all to do that. We've been over this many times before with many different players at Barca. They were all given contracts. There's no way around that. They've got it there in writing. They were handed to them, of course, by our previous president, Bartomeu, but they still stand. And there's no obligation, therefore, to reduce them. Now, Frenkie de Jong's contract right now runs until 2026. And going back to this Lenglet contract, that was also one of the very last things that Bartomeu did before his time as president ran out. He knew his time was up, he knew his time was coming to an end, and he proceeded to renew Frenkie de Jong, Marc-Andre ter Stegen, Piqué and Lenglet, all of them on multi-year huge contract extensions. Essentially there, what he did was promise money the club didn't have. There was wage increases, there was bonuses, there was clauses there like we're hearing now, and that's the problem. Because already at the club right now, earning €350,000 a week, Frenkie de Jong, he is easily one of our highest earning players. And like I say, the clause in that deal included by Bartomeu says that this coming season, that wage will go even higher. And that is something the club are desperately trying to control. Because I do personally believe that at the very beginning of the summer, immediately after the season ended, I personally think that the club went to Frenkie de Jong to discuss the situation. I think that's when the rumours first started to emerge about a potential exit for de Jong, all the time with this salary issue in mind. Whether or not anything was said, any answer was given that early on in the summer, we don't know. But I think what's really important, guys, to also point out right now is that we're not singling out Frenkie de Jong. It's not like we're just going to him and saying, look, we need you, and nobody else is doing anything, because this is something that we've seen with every major decision now made by Laporta since he took over from Bartomeu. He is trying to get this wage bill back in order. He is trying to turn around the club's financial situation. And just think about it. We weren't able to fit Messi into the wage structure. We weren't able to fit him into the La Liga regulations. Antoine Griezmann was shipped out immediately because of his salary. Coutinho was sold for the same reason. Ousmane Dembélé, he's not going to be given anywhere near the kind of money he wanted for that same reason. And even when it comes to renewals, Pedri, Arau, now Gavi, time has been taken over each and every one of those decisions because we're not paying out big money anymore. Those days are very much behind us. Under Laporta, every single player is being asked basically to make a commitment. If you want to stay here, if you want to be part of this project, if you want to be at this club, you've got to accept the club's terms. You've got to accept the club's conditions, and it could only be a contract that now is within our means. But what I also do have to make very clear, and I have to stress this really strongly, is that although Fabrizio Romano, to be fair, is a very reliable journalist, one of the most reliable out there in fact, it is still not guaranteed that de Jong won't take a reduction. It is not set in stone to say, okay, he's definitely not going to do it then, because of course, we have to wait and see. It is still not official information, but I just wonder what would happen if he, say, didn't want to take one, if he wasn't open there to adjusting that current contract, but at the same time, he did want to stay. what would the club do then? What real action, could we take? Because we couldn't force him, like I say, into a reduction. You can't do that. You also couldn't force him to leave the club. He will have the final say. And I just hope we don't reach a situation here whereby things get a bit messy. Whereby on both sides there, things are being done, things are being said. I really hope we don't get to that kind of situation, because the bottom line is, guys, Frenkie de Jong, he is a wonderful player. He is a fantastic player. We're under no illusions about that. And also, as well, he's been a great guy since he's been at the club. He's been a great personality to have around. We've always been very, very warm towards him. He's been warm as well to the fans. He seems to love playing at Barça. And I just hope, to be fair, that there's a way of solving this issue that kind of suits everybody. Everybody needs to do their bit. Everybody needs to make some sort of sacrifice to try and make all of this sort of come together and work as a club. And I just hope here, Frenkie, Laporta, the club, the board, the decisions that we're trying to make, I hope that somehow we can find some common ground, some middle ground to get this resolved. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens from here. Finally though, guys, I do just want to give you an update on the Ousmane Dembélé situation. I know, guys, that it's tracking on, even more than we expected. I know many of you are thinking, well, we just don't care anymore. And look, I understand that completely. I'm simply here giving you the news about Dembélé because the club are still trying. Now, whether we think that's the right decision, whether we think that's the wrong decision about Dembélé, they believe, I feel, from a sporting point of view, from a business point of view as well, that if they can renew him on that lower salary, it will still be seen as a good business decision, as a sporting one for the club. And what we know right now is that Dembélé was actually given until 9 p.m. on Sunday night, whereby if he'd have agreed that deal, if he would have said, yes, I'm going to sign that new contract, then the club would have said, okay, you can now arrive for those medical tests with everybody else. You can begin pre-season with the rest of the team. But obviously today, guys, Dembélé wasn't there. Dembélé was not present with the rest of the team. I don't know where he is right now, but certainly he's not with any club. He's not training. But the situation is still open. Barça remain very, very calm, and I think as they should be. Raphinha right now is looking really, really good. Gerard Romero says that's 98% done on Raphinha, and it's not like now we're pinning all of our hopes on Dembélé. It's not as though he's our only option heading into the season. It's kind of as though, you know what, if you're going to sign, if you're going to renew, that's great. The club want to do that, but if not, we still have other options now. We still have a backup plan, and a very, very good one at that, in Raphinha. And of course, the club would like to have the two of them together, providing that Dembélé does accept that proposal there that would see his salary reduce by 40% if he accepts it, and it will be a deal, it's expected, until 2024. Will he sign it? Only time will tell, and let's wait and see what's to come. So that right there, guys, is a full update right now on the transfer situation, but there's always new things coming up. There's always new developments going on, and believe me, it will not be long, I am sure, before I'm back with another video with plenty more to discuss. Thank you indeed, guys, for all of your support here across both channels. It is fantastic, and we are in store for a really, really exciting summer. I will see you soon. Please leave your thoughts down below on the exits, on the De Jong situation, and also Dembélé. But until next time, guys, as always, Visca El Barça.